Good evening, everyone. Let's get started. I call this meeting to order. Good evening and welcome to the September 16th meeting of the City of Minnetonka Sustainability Commission. This is our 17th in-person meeting, and you have to excuse me, I have to grab my reading glasses for just a moment. It'll be better for all of us. Okay, and this is our 17th in-person meeting and our 4th meeting this year. The Commission generally meets every other month on the third Tuesday of the month. The schedule and tentative agenda can be obtained by contacting the city's planning division or by visiting the city's website at minnetonkamn.gov. Residents can provide input on tonight's agenda during public comment via email or provide input tonight during this meeting. The Sustainability Commission's first meeting was May of 2021. Kind of hard to believe. Since then, we've accomplished a significant number of useful and practical actions for our city residents. Areas of review for the Commission include air, water, energy, land, ecological resources, recycling, and waste management, and other related sustainability areas not addressed by City Code or another city advisory group. The Sustainability Commission has a unique role here in Minnetonka, as we serve both as an advisor to the City Council and as ambassador for city programs. As an advisor to the City Council, the Sustainability Commission makes recommendations on city plans, policies, procedures, programs, practices, and proposals that relate to sustainability and conservation of our natural resources. Final decisions are then made by the City Council. That's an important point to note. As an ambassador, the Sustainability Commission attends events to promote city initiatives with the public. That is the first item on tonight's agenda, is the call to order. Our second item on the agenda is roll call. Ms. Sutherland, would you please call roll? Oh.
Golub.
Here.
White.
Here.
Patan.
Here.
Norman. Absent. Meyer.
Here.
Ingham.
Here.
Henry. Absent. Carr.
Here.
Thank you. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us tonight. So we have a quorum. 6, sorry, I can't count. We have a quorum. That concludes item number 2, our roll call. We'll move to approval of the agenda. We want to approve the agenda for the September 16th, 2029 agenda, item number 3. Allie, do you have any comments? Or Riley, do you have any changes?
Thanks, Chair. No, there are no additions tonight,
Okay, very good.
at least from staff.
Very good. Since there are no changes to the agenda, would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda for the September meeting? Is there a motion?
I move to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. Riley, would you please poll the commission members?
Golub.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Patan.
It's Patan. And
Patan.
then, no worries. Yes.
Norman. Absent. Meyer.
Yes.
Ingham.
Yes.
Henry. Absent. Carr.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes. That was agenda item 4. We'll move to agenda item number 5, which is the agenda itself. Before we start, I'd like to make just a quick review of the procedure. We will call out the number when we do that, and I will ask staff for their presentation. I will then ask all of my fellow Sustainability Commission members to ask questions to staff for clarification. If no one has registered to comment, I will then open and close the public input portion for this agenda topic. If an agenda topic is informational or we provide feedback to staff, then no vote is required and we will move on to the next agenda item. So those are our procedures. And with that is agenda item 5A, and I will turn the meeting over to Ally.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Just really quick, wanted to introduce Riley Rooney. She's a planner here at the City of Minnetonka. She started in May of this year, so she's joining tonight to fill in for Susan. So just wanted to let you know who Riley is. She normally attends the Planning Commission, so this is an opportunity for her to learn about the Sustainability Commission too. So with that, item 5A tonight is a discussion of the draft 2026 Sustainability Commission Work Plan. I think this will be a fun conversation tonight amongst the Commission. So first, we're going to talk about the Commission duties, which Chair Golub already actually summarized very well. Talk a little bit about the work plan purpose, just to remind you all like why we do that and why it's important for the Commission. We'll talk about 2025 highlights, accomplishments to date as of today, and then we'll review the proposed 2026 work plan ideas. Those were included in your packet, and just wanted to note this is a starting point. It's just recommendations from staff based on a set of plans, and we'll talk a bit more, but just so you know, that's a starting point to kind of form a Commission discussion. And then lastly, we will collect feedback through a tool called Mentimeter, so stay tuned on that. First off, we'll talk about the Sustainability Commission's goals and responsibilities. This is defined by City Code, so it's quite wordy, as the City Code normally is, but I summarized this into 4 main duties. First is to be a sustainability ambassador to the City Council, as we all know. Second is to be, advisor to the City Council. So you're reviewing and considering and drafting and commenting on city plans, policies, procedures for the City Council. So you're just acting as another set of eyes and making recommendations to the City Council. We're not approving anything. We're simply acting as advisors, trusted advisors to the City Council. Second is that you are an ambassador to the public. So you're representing our sustainability programs. You're providing that outreach as we do very frequently. So that's the ambassador role. The third is related to that. Is everything okay? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No, it's okay. Just want to make sure everything's okay. Number 3 is to cultivate community relationships, and I feel as if this is pretty closely tied to the ambassador role, but I do think it takes it a step further to say that not only are we going to go out to community events, but we're going to make a diligent effort to create and foster even new community connections and find new community groups and just to cultivate those new relationships. So that's what number 3 is about. And then 4 is to report on our progress to the City Council and to the community. So the annual work plans, these are set every year by the Commission. It's the Commission's work plan. It's set to determine goals, priorities, and objectives for the Commission, so we have a clear understanding of what we're aiming to do as a group. It's guiding us into the next year, so it's not to say we can't stray maybe a bit here and there from it, but it's simply acting as a guide for the future year's work. Number 3 is to provide the City Council an outline. So it's also important that the City Council understands what we're working on and that they're supportive of the work, and we're advising them on priorities that the City Council and the city has as a whole. So not only is this for the Commission, but it's for staff and the City Council to be aware of our work. And then number 4 is the plan aims to include SMART actions. So if you're not familiar with that acronym, it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound actions. So when we're thinking about including an action, not just simply stating, something that we want to do, but thinking a bit more critically about it so that we know exactly how to implement it and to know that it is going to be ultimately achievable and measurable. So before we hop into 2026, I thought it was important to review what we accomplished within 2025 as of to date. So we'll start out with the Home Energy Squad visit campaign. So these were the free Home Energy Squad visits that the commission helped to promote. We were able to provide these free Home Energy Squad visits with the help of a Minnesota Pollution Control Agency grant, where the state covered about 2/3 of the cost, and then the city covered 1/3 of the cost. Normally, the city has been funding 50% of the visit, so it actually helped support a bit of our portion of the funds that we had previously been covering, but it also took away any onus on the property owner. So that being said, we had 392 residents sign up, and that was in less than a year's time frame. That was from October 2024 through June of 2025, and because there was some staff turnover at the time and I didn't start until December, in all honesty, we really didn't start promoting it actively until December. So to me, that's even more impressive that we were able to do this in such a short amount of time with your help. So 392 residents is about 54 residents per month were signing up, which after some data crunching is about 3.5 times the average rate. So it really did increase, which is pretty phenomenal to see. The average previously is about 15 visits per month. So it kind of gives you, something to compare against. What's really incredible too is that 1/3 of the households, 160 of the households, have a household income of less than 80% of the area median income, which is about 10 times the average annual signups for income qualified households. So not only were we reaching more people, but we were really reaching more people that are, more likely in need of these services. And I have a sense that just the fact that we were, stating these are completely free, even though I will say some of these households typically would qualify for a free visit outside of this campaign. The fact that we were messaging it so strongly that it's free clearly had an impact here. And then I thought it was also interesting. So I was going back through the data, and obviously I started in December, and I saw a couple months in 2023 had really high sign-up rates. So I dove into it a little bit more, and I learned that at that time, Xcel Energy had offered free Home Energy Squad visits to the city, and then the city was able to offer these for free. And so I was able to take some of that data to compare against, okay, when we did this last time, what was our sign-up rate? Just to get a sense of, if we were to do this going forward, is this a pretty good baseline that we can expect? And my conclusion is that in this round, it was just slightly higher than what our rates were in 2023, that spring. So at that time, we had about 46 visits per month, which is about 3 times the average. So my thought is that if we do this again, we very likely would see these same sort of signups, the same sort of sign-up rate. Oh, and then just to point out some of the pictures too, you can see the commission at the Winter Farmers Market. We also put flyers around community bulletin boards, so that was a pretty fun exercise to see which bulletin boards were most easily accessible to the public. This one was at an Ace Hardware store. It was right in the front of the store, so it's also where people are going to do home maintenance projects. So that was kind of fun. And then we also put these signs out at other city facilities. So that one in particular was at Williston Fitness Center. So you're getting in front of people that might not, they're not there to learn about energy, right? Like they might be at the farmers market more likely to do that. But we're getting in front of a lot of patrons at that facility and other facilities too. Let's see. Okay. Some other activities the commission did is that you helped host 9 education tables so far, and this is only between January through September, so we're still going. We're not even completely finished this year. And based on your help clicking, every time you talk to an individual, we talked to about 480 people during those 9 tables. We hosted the 4th annual Everything Electric event. This year we tried to do an exhibit form. We've hosted 1 of 2. The next one will actually be at the city's open house at the beginning of October. So that was a way to get in front of more people at one of the largest, well, I believe the largest community event at the city of Minnetonka. We estimate that there was 6,000 attendees at that event. So we were visible to, I would say, that many attendees because we were right in the thick of the main event activities. And we talked to 400 people directly. So they either came up to one of the vehicles, one of the tables, but through estimates that all the volunteers were using the clickers, we were able to get that information. The commission also awarded 12 Sustainable Minnetonka Award winners this year. That included both I believe that was both nominees and awardees that we had. So the nominee process was actually new this year too, where the commission felt, these people or businesses are doing really amazing work. Let's recognize everyone that's putting in the effort, and then also recognizing special recognition projects, those projects that seem to go above and beyond. We also separated out residents to businesses too, so we can recognize more than just one or the other. We hosted the clothing reuse swap. That was over Earth Day, actually. So it's an Earth Day clothing reuse swap. The commission collected 875 pounds of clothing, and technically we didn't collect it, we swapped it. So that was swapped amongst community members. And then we also partnered with His House this year, which is a homelessness organization that already is actually working with our economic development staff. So that was a really fun way to partner with another community-based organization that supports our community in different housing ways. And then lastly, we also hosted the Plastic Free Challenge and Stop the Food Waste Challenge. Those are virtual education opportunities. The city had teams for both of those. The commission participated to learn actually what other residents are learning about too. It's a great learning activity that updates every year. So whether you participated in it in the previous years, there's always something new to learn. But we had 48 members of the public join those two teams collectively. All right, so onto the draft work plan. So now looking into 2026, again, just recognizing the draft work plan included in tonight's packet is simply a starting point. Please don't feel like it's restrictive. It certainly can be changed. It's just a way to kind of start some conversation among the commission. Those items, those draft items, include measurable targets this year. So that was a new version, I guess, that I included, where it includes more of like a high-level strategy along with a target that we're really aiming for that's a bit more specific. And then these actions were broken down first into the 4 commission duties. So that's how this year's is organized. So you'll see each of the 4 duties has at least one action included. And then I also noted what the action is relating to. So CAP is standing for our Climate Action and Adaptation Plan. In some cases, it might be supporting other citywide actions or other like solid waste programming, for example. So you can see that for each action. I did reference the progress made on 2025, our Sustainability Commission work plan. So anything that we're currently working on or the commission seemed to support well, that was included. I also included anything that I've heard, just general feedback that I was hearing from the commission, things you guys liked or didn't like or want to continue, other interests you've shared with me that more specific interests that you might have raised. Again, solid waste programming priorities were included, and then ultimately the 2025 to 2027 strategic priorities of the city that the city council helps to set. All of that information was considered when creating this plan. Let's see. Okay, so now the fun part. Staff is requesting the input from the commission. This is ultimately the commission's plan. I will say it's supported by staff, so we want to come to a consensus where the commission is adopting this plan and wants to be the owners of the plan, but it also has to relate to staff abilities to support it as well. So knowing that this is your plan, we do, this is just a discussion only item tonight as well. So we'll collect your feedback. I'll update the plan as you advise, and then I'll bring this back to you in November for your final discussion and then recommendation for city council approval at that time. And to make this a little bit more fun, and then also to be able to collect kind of like a commission consensus for feedback, we're going to test out this Mentimeter tool. So I did share the questions with you by email. If you didn't receive them, that's okay. It was just a way of giving you a little bit of a heads up so you could peek at them. And again, we're just looking for commission consensus and to see where everyone else is thinking. So if you could take out your device, whether it's a tablet or phone or laptop, looks like everyone has one. You can go to menti.com, and then there's a sticky note that has the code. You type that in. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up the Mentimeter slide. And based on conversations I've had so far, I think this is everyone's first time doing this, including my first time hosting one. So it's going to be a learning process for us all.
Allie,
Yes.
my computer says I have no internet.
You have to connect to the guest. So like if you go to settings, and like even to your
Riley's going to stop over quick.
Can you go
To-
settings icon?
Oh. It's been so long, I gotta think about.
I can drive
Or you
if
can-
you want.
You're good.
All good? All right. When you're on, your screen should show what's on your monitor screen. So the test round is, what year did you join the commission? If your screen allows you to submit an answer, test it out. If you don't know, give a guess. This is just, it's not a quiz.
Mine worked, and then it said there was an unexpected problem. Please try again.
Yeah, why don't you refresh and let me know if that doesn't work. Looks like we're missing one. Has someone not submitted yet? Okay. Okay. That's okay. Just want to make sure we're all okay. Cool. All right, so this is how this works. So this is an example of an open response where you can just submit your answer. Some questions will be more of like a polling or multiple choice. So I also liked this question because it kind of goes to show like we have some commissioners who started when the commission joined. Do you want to raise your hand if that was you? Okay. And then we also have some newer commissioners, right? Kind of a whole mix. So just kind of goes to show we have people with a lot of experience here and then some new folks too. All right. Next question. What has been your favorite activity as a commissioner? Feel free to write more than one if you'd like, but maybe top couple. I'll just read them out loud as I see them. Clothing swap, business outreach, everything electric event, community engagement activities, which includes the farmers market clothing swap, everything electric event, being an ambassador at community events. So I think those are all outreach oriented, so that's awesome. I'm seeing a couple themes. We got the everything electric a couple times. Oh, more farmers markets. Cool. Awesome. It just helps me as staff also understand, like, we want to make sure that we're creating activities that you all like too. So, all right, what's the commission's biggest success to date, in your opinion? Reflection activity. Sustainable Minnetonka Awards. It was so awesome to see so many people stepping up in our community. Maybe I'll wait to read till everyone's done. All right. I'll just read these now that everyone's done and can listen. So someone said the Sustainable Minnetonka Awards. It was so awesome to see so many people stepping up in our community. Actually, would you guys prefer to read your own responses, or would you rather I? Doesn't matter. No? Oh, yeah. Okay. Climate action and adaptation plan completion, education, and now the most challenging, implementation. We have community outreach activities like our Sustainable Awards, so another shout out to the award program. Increasing city awareness about sustainability initiatives. The clothing swap stood out to me as a very impactful and local event for helping people directly. I would very much agree with that. Raising awareness of the Minnetonka's commitment and the Commission's work at public events. Home Energy Squad visits, and the climate action and adaptation work. Awesome. Thanks. If you want to verbally share any thoughts, feel free to raise your hand too. All right, number 3. Select your top 3 favorite activities proposed. So I recognize that this slide is very challenging to read, but on your device, all the actions will pop up. So if you want to scroll through them, again, these are the proposed activities. So which 3 proposed activities are you most excited about, or would consider as your top 3?
Ask me to choose a favorite child, why don't you?
Right. I think technically you could choose more than 3 if you wanted to, but oh, it doesn't let you? Okay.
Okay, whoever chose tours, thank you, because that was my number 4.
Oh, good.
I love tours, so, and thank you.
I'll note that. We have another for tours. +1 tours. All right, everyone done submitting? Okay. So, CAP implementation program planning. And when I think of that, when I wrote that, and you might have interpreted it differently, which is definitely fine. But I just wanted you to know, now that we've moved into this implementation phase, there's so many different programs that we could consider creating, that we haven't attempted to do yet. Maybe the free home energy squad visit campaign is one example of that. But that's where that planning kind of gets to. It's like, as a commission, we could start developing programs that the city could consider implementing. So that's what I was getting out of it, but if you didn't interpret it that way, that's fine too. 3 people liked the Sustainable Minnetonka Awards as one of their tops, 2 Everything Electric, 3 for the reuse swaps, and then a few others got 1 vote. So the resident event tables, the outreach, business outreach got 1, making community connections. We haven't done a ton of that outside of just, the tabling, some business outreach, I would say. And then 2 tour. We'll give that one another one, so.
I have a question if now's a good time.
Yeah, yep.
While we're on this, because, okay. I was like, am I missing on here? Okay, so maybe I'm not. Maybe this is not. Is it number 5? Okay, number 5, coordinate and attend educational on-site tours related to CAP. Okay.
Oh,
I was just making sure it was on here somewhere.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, the tours.
Thank
And
you.
actually, yeah, I'm just remembering now, I was actually going to start, I forgot, I was going to actually run through the draft plan. Did everyone get a chance to look at it on their own? The actual 2026 draft plan? The one that was included in the packet?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
apologize. I was planning on running through it.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I know I guess, so I know this is I guess, we're looking at it at a higher level.
Yeah.
And I know you said that we're gonna narrow it down more is it November?
Yes. Yep,
Okay.
that's the next time.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can actually, why don't we just stop here and we can actually maybe just run through the plan, because I apologize, I actually meant to do that, and I think that's probably important before we continue.
Okay, because I was curious
yeah.
if it would speak to specifics, because I know normally
No.
we've discussed some of the tours that we might have liked to go on, or even some that we might like to revisit with us having newer members
Yeah.
to the commission, like things that we enjoyed in the past, or tours that we enjoyed in the past and might like to go to again. I think it's
Totally.
really important. I love the tours, I will say, for the newer members, just because I think it's important for us to be educated about our local Minnetonka, but also we tour places outside of Minnetonka, so of course in the greater Minnesota.
Yep.
So I've learned so much via the tours, so that's why I was like, I was like, it was for me, it was that one and the sustainability awards, and you can't not choose
Yeah.
sustainability awards, that's our bread and butter, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I was just curious to me if we would discuss a little bit about, because I know in the past we voted on our favorite tours that we'd like to go to for the year. So I think that's kind of a nice. Maybe that's in your. I did not get a chance to view your Menti, which I've done Menti before. I think it's a great tool. But yeah, so I was a little bit curious about that, I will say.
Yeah, thank you for raising that, and I apologize. I did mean to run through this, so I'm just going to run through it really quickly, and I'll hit on that tours question. So in the plan, so I'm looking at the front page of the plan. I think you all have it in front of you. So I'll just start with number 1. So in this section, it's just it's based on actions that are fulfilling the duty to be a sustainability advisor to the city council. So number 1 is that I will plan to present you CAP, Climate Action and Adaptation Plan implementation updates twice annually. We've been maybe casually doing that, but I think we can get into more of a cycle of doing that to say, what are staff doing? What are you doing? So we can formalize that more, and that will help us with planning and looking ahead. So the target is to do that in January and June. I felt like that seemed to fit, but again, we can make updates as needed.
Can I ask another question?
yeah.
Sorry, this is just particular to this section. Regarding the cap, I know that our big reason why we had the cap was because minutes, or what we were making it for, if I'm remembering correctly, Chair, is because we were trying to work towards getting to zero emissions in 20. Did we decide on 2050 or did we decide on 2070? I can't remember.
I think it was 2050.
I thought it was 2052. Okay. And I would love an update on like what that like because I don't think we've had an update recently on what we're looking like. So I would love for that to be included in the
Yes.
update too regularly.
Yes.
Just to see like where we're trending. And so just also it's nice for us to have updates when we're chatting with community members when we're at the tabling events as well. I think that would be a really nice thing to see. And also for, I don't know how many community members know that that's something that we kind of chose that more aggressive plan. So to be able to speak to like where are we looking like, you know, countdown meter or something to that nature. So just that'd be nice to add to that update that you're going to do.
Yeah, I'd just like to add, I took a quick skim of the CAP plan before today's meeting. There's tons of fantastic information in here. And I think we have a tendency to kind of set it aside. And I think we need to periodically read over this document again. There's terrific ideas, terrific things that I think we may have forgotten about. And I think we need to refresh ourselves. Our consultants did a fantastic job. And I just think that taking the opportunity to review it is really critical. We spent a lot of money, and the consultants spent a lot of time, and they put together an outstanding document, so we don't want to forget about it. It's kind of like the Energy Action Plan, which I looked at today also. There's a ton of information. The issue there, it's a little bit out of date, since I think that was back in 2021. Here we are in 2025, but there's still terrific background information in both documents that we need to focus on going forward.
Thank you, Commissioner and Chair. Yes, I love both of those ideas. For the updates, we certainly will talk about kind of like emissions reportings and hopefully get to that point. I will say those are typically like annual consultant requests, so will they be that granular? Maybe not, but they'll be reporting based on these targets that we're setting here. And then rest assured, we're not forgetting about the action steps. So since December, I've been looking at that document to kind of start prioritizing each of those, what I'm calling high-level strategies. And so going forward, we're going to be assigning a year for each of those strategies, really breaking them down into actionable tasks. They're very high level right now. So it's quite a big task, but that's what I am working on currently. So come January, you know, if that's what we plan as the first kind of like big update, I can bring that to you, and I hope to share a staff work plan too that will be very similar, or at least be supporting the commission's work plan and vice versa. Your work plan is structured to then be supporting staff implementation there. So yeah, that's that first action. I would say number 2 is very similar to that. It's just more like the technical aspect of helping to support whatever staff implementation is coming about through plans, policies, and programs. Number 3 is continuing to support the Sustainable Minnetonka Awards program as we already have. You can see I have included some targets, right? So just some goals for us to get 4 residents and 4 businesses at least to be awarded special recognition. So that would be 1 per each category that we have. Number 4 is to attend educational webinars related to climate action plan and adaptation priorities. So that's new. That was a suggestion. I heard that from Commissioner Petain that you are interested in continuing to learn. So I'm not certain at this point how you want to continue learning. Do you prefer to learn from presenters, from webinars, from tours, or maybe all? That's actually a question in the Mentimeter. So stay tuned, but I kind of liked the idea of collectively as a group, maybe all together we can have at least 10 people take different listen on different webinars to be getting information in that way. Number 5 is to coordinate and attend educational on-site tours. So we just talked about that. In the past, the commission specified at this time, or when the plan is approved, what tours you would like to go on. That is entirely up to the commission if you want to acknowledge those exact tours, or do we take that action as stated and then create that into an item at a future commission meeting in 2026 where you vote on the tours. Whichever you want to do is up to you. I have it in here that we attend at least 2 tours. Again, that target could be increased if you would like to go on more tours. I also have at least keyword too. So, next section is about being an ambassador. So again, that first section was truly about advising staff and city council. The second section is to be an ambassador. So item 6 is to host those residential education tables. I specified the tables that we would be at, which is the farmers market, Ridgedale Library's Earth Day event, and then the summer farmers markets. I also included a list of different table topics that we can consider. So maybe broadening topics, and those are actually pulled out of the Climate Action and Adaptation Plan, the priority topics of that calls out. I set us a target to talk to at least 300 residents about how to participate in climate action and adaptation at home. Keyword adaptation. So maybe moving more into like climate ready homes and not just thinking about reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but how you can adapt to the climate in a safe way. And item 7 is to host an Everything Electric exhibit again. Actually exhibits plural. So I did include the Summerfest and City's Open House again here. Again, setting targets, at least 600 residents that we would be educating collectively there. Item 8 is new. So I suggested that the commission create a subcommittee to help coordinate that and host the Everything Electric exhibit. So I was envisioning maybe 2 or 3 commissioners that are super interested in that event. Say they want to be a part of the subcommittee, and we meet maybe 1 or 2 times informally outside of a commission meeting, and you can help be a part of making that happen. So like this year I was like, we need an activity, let's do spin art. I chose spin art. But if you want to be a part of creating like those activities or helping to select the vehicles, or maybe even, you know, if you want to help reach out to residents or whoever that you know has a vehicle, that we could ask them to attend that event, that sort of thing. So if you like that idea, that's also a question on the Mentimeter too. Number 9 is to propose energy resources to multi-household residential units. So these are the multi-unit like apartment complexes all the way down to like condos, or probably anything above 4 joined units. So five units attached and up. So that would likely be helping to contact the property owners to let them know there's a free, I'm gonna not get the program name correct. It's like multifamily energy efficiency program that Xcel Energy has, for example. That's a free home energy. It's very similar to the home energy audit for multifamily property owners. It's free. So educating about that. That's actually taken from a strategic plan action that's included right now by the council. Item 10 is to host an event to educate residents about renewable energy opportunities and promote available resources to properties in the community. So again, that's based off of a strategic plan action step approved. And then the target would be to host at least one and aim to have at least 20 residents attend. Item 11 is to coordinate another subcommittee, but that would be to help with coordinating an Earth Day reuse swap. I didn't include the term clothing here. The commission could choose to include that. It's really up to you. You know, we're always welcome to host a different type of swap. There's lots of different types out there, but I know the clothing swap has been successful for a variety of reasons. So whatever you choose, but I thought it would be fun to have a subcommittee for that if you're interested. 12 is to host so the 11 is to create that subcommittee, and then 12 is to host the actual swap. So likely we could use more help day of from the commission. Whether you want to be a part of the planning team is different. Then 12 would be to actually be there on site and helping to truly host it and promote. Maybe you want to help promote it, but you can't actually attend. So different ways to get involved. 13 is to create and promote a business outreach initiative to engage small and mid-sized businesses on how to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So I left this vague intentionally. The commission could, you know, between now and November, choose what that initiative is. If you want to just say, we want to do a business blitz and include that, we can do that. Or if we leave it more vague like this, we could, again, in 2026, consider like an item, a work plan or an agenda item to have a discussion on what that outreach looks like. So again, up to you if you want to define it or not. 14, so so this is the third section, to cultivate community relationships. I don't feel like we've gotten into this too much yet. I could be wrong, but this is more of that community-based organization conversation. So 14 is to help interview businesses and residents about their sustainability efforts to help build a set of sustainability success stories. So really fostering a little bit more of that connection. I know we've talked about it internally. We do have communications staff, but I do think our staff could use support from you on this. I think we would get more interviews done at a faster rate if you wanted to help with that. And I could see that being a pretty fun activity to go and meet with a business, ask them some questions. Maybe our communications staff could be there to film, or I don't know, whatever you think is a good idea there. But I included an interview at least 5 businesses and residents about their success story for the target. Action 15 is to identify and connect with community leaders and trusted messengers to help engage vulnerable residents and businesses in CAP priorities. So I've learned other communities are basing a lot of their climate action and adaptation plan implementation around this idea of equity and inclusion and making sure everyone feels safe and welcome to participate. And by using a trusted messenger, it's someone that individual or business looks up to, and that they trust whatever message they're sharing, and they want to participate maybe a bit more than if it was just the city reaching out. So is there a way that we can identify like who those trusted messengers are for the particular vulnerable residents and businesses that we want to engage with? We might have a better way of actually connecting with those groups. So another activity for the commission to consider there. 16 is to help create new community connections and identify partnership opportunities with residential, business, and nonprofit groups. So maybe a little bit less of the actual trusted messenger, but just trying to find additional community groups that we can connect with. One example was the His House Foundation. That's a nonprofit we had never partnered with. They're connected to a lot of community members. So are there other organizations that we can get connected to and just kind of start fostering those relationships? 17 is to grow the Minnetonka Sustainable Minnetonka Awards program. Again, that's just helping to promote it. And then lastly, for reporting, just to make sure by the end of the year that we're going over all of our progress reports and then creating an update end of year document for the city council to then review. So apologize I didn't run through that earlier. Maybe your top 3 would be different after reviewing that. Does anyone feel like their top 3 would change based on what you submitted? No? Okay. All right. Well, this question was, again, just to kind of show like where the group is falling at. I would say the ones that received 0, we haven't really done yet. So maybe that's a reason why. I don't know. Let's see.
Can I ask a clarification
Absolutely.
on 14 and 17?
Yes.
When I think of reaching out to businesses to build the community success stories, as well as to encourage people to participate in applying for the Sustainability Award, it would be helpful to draw from businesses that have participated in their energy audit
Yes.
as a start. If that's data that we could obtain, a list of business owners and managers that have participated in the past couple of years, I think that would be immensely helpful.
Can I add on that as well? I would also like to say, I'm hesitant to, I just want to make sure that when we're reaching out to businesses, we're as, I guess, thoughtful with our outreach as possible. I think when we're being mindful to reach out to businesses who have participated in energy audits, we know that those are people who are kind of bought in, and we can really make sure that we're enriching the experience if we're sharing that on like social media or doing an interview with them. And so I think that's a very thoughtful idea. Additionally, I know that we have talked about this in the past, is like even with the residents, is interviewing residents who have previously won an award, which I think we did that. Was it in the memo? And I thought, or it was in the memo and it was in the business's version of the memo. And so I was like, I love that, continuing to do that. Additionally, I feel like there's obviously, or to me, it looks like overlap in 16 and 17, like 14, 16, and 17 seem like there's a lot of overlap, because additionally, I feel like there's some nonprofits. One that I think I have mentioned in the past as well is the Scouts. My son is a Scout, and they have to do a service project. And so to me, I know something that we've had to reach out or looked for in the past was having our youth youth apply for the sustainability awards. And so lots of their projects that they are doing, the service projects they have to do to make Eagle, are very applicable to the sustainability award. And so just making sure that we're reaching out and making sure that they're aware of this award, that they can apply this project that they're already doing to the sustainability award. And that's it's a number one, a great project that they're already doing. And I think that sustainability, my son is working on his sustainability merit badge this Thursday. I think that sustainability, there's a big overlap with that, and of course Scouting, and of course they are right here in our community. And so I think that there's just a lot of natural overlap between all of these. And then finally, I think also with community relationships, we haven't quite made this one happen yet, but I know that we've talked also about in the past, which is building relationships with going out to some of the homes, and it seemed like they were very open to this, of the recipients or even the award winners of the sustainability awards, to see like their projects, because they're fascinating and they've put a lot of time and work into them. And I would love to see Chair and I were able to come to see the presentation, and Chair presented the awards at the city council meeting, but that would be a nice other step, and we could tie in an interview there, even if we were out on their properties, to see the actual awards and see their projects at their homes. So it feels like there's a lot of tie over where we could complete a lot of these goals in like one go. So I know this is a role that I really appreciate, I enjoy doing, but I just want to make sure that we're really mindful of people's time, and so that we're being really thoughtful about the projects that we're working on and how we can best utilize our time.
I'd like to simply add, we have talked about a tour of our Sustainability Commission award recipients, and I think everyone that we contacted would have been delighted had we scheduled some time to go out to their sites to see what they've done. I mean, they're all very proud of what they've done. They've done some outstanding work, and we've talked about it, but we never scheduled it. So I think it fits in nicely with what Ashley was talking about.
Could I add to that as well?
Certainly
I
did.
think both your points are excellent, and a way to leverage energy that's already there. If the Scouts, I'd love to help him do that. I was a Scout leader in the past, a decade or so ago, but I'd love to. But back to the point of the award winners, Sustainable Minnetonka Award winners, they can be ambassadors as well, right? If we support them and celebrate them and elevate them as leaders of sustainability with our efforts, not make it about us as much as them, and then they can help teach, and they can help spread the word as well at our events. So great idea of touring and supporting and celebrating their awards. I didn't know which ones they had won. I'd be excited to visit them. The other comment I had was, as commissioners have been talking about this section, each item kind of feeding on each other. I was making notes. I'm a numbers guy and a scheduler by nature, so I've been circling every number on here, and it looks like, is there a possibility of leveraging a lot of these events to support the other item? So, for example, at the Everything Electric event, can that be, outlined in item 8? can we call that an item 10 hosted event that would be able to provide more renewable energy opportunities and promote resources? These maybe can feed each other. The Earth Day reuse swap, can that be another event, for example, that could go hand in hand with promoting a business outreach initiative or one of the others that might match? So it seems like a lot of these could be handled at one event or two or three without creating a new one for each line item. Just a thought on efficiency.
I would echo Commissioner Carr's suggestion, because in the past, for Everything Electric event, we have hosted community solar and other electric opportunities. So I think combining them, especially if we host it during the Minnetonka Festival, where we had 6,000 people attend, that's an awesome place to at least have them see renewable energy opportunities as well as electric and home energy audits included.
Those are all great points. Yes, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I absolutely agree with those, and let's consider them as we're maybe going through it. Maybe let's go through the Mentimeter, and at the end, suggest some edits based on the rest of the feedback that comes in. Does that sound good? Okay. I think those are all really great points. Okay. You might need to refresh your Mentimeter. I don't know, but let's see. I'll go to the next slide. Number 4. Does this show up for you? Tried to number them to help keep. So it says, which actions, if any, would you like added? So is there anything not included that you would like added to the work plan? I know we just, yeah. And I would say let's start by just submitting some comments, and after that we can maybe have a bit more discussion on it if you'd like.
If we think we should edit some targets, should I put that on here?
Sure. Whichever is fine. I'll collect these answers and it'll help me with the changes, but I'll also, I'll re-listen to the conversation too. So. All right, I will read these. The first is regarding number 12, which is to, what is that, host a reuse swap. Someone suggested that, so while I'm reading these, I'll just let you know, oh, what was that? I think we're okay. We can vote on these if you'd like. So we might maybe try that. But just so you know, while I'm reading these, that is going to be the next step. So number 12 is that we should host at least 2 reuse swaps. People seem to get excited about them, and I think we could have a lot of attendees. Next is nothing added specifically, but would like the targets edited to ensure we don't have overlapping goals. We would probably need a little bit more information on the targets edited, but that's okay. We can go to the next. Perhaps give a larger incentive for the Sustainable Minnetonka Awards, such as publishing them in some sort of paper as a form of marketing for them, in addition to 14. Let's see. Oh, addition to 14 would be interviewing them. Get feedback from the City Council regularly on our plan, metrics, and results to keep consistency with their potential changing priorities. Next is perhaps we could create a chart to track overlapping targets. That way, we could also see our progress and where we may need to pick up slack. I have used Gantt charts in the past. Consider an activity to reach out to residents describing why sustainability is important to them and what we are doing could focus on school-age young folks. Neighborhood Sustainability Champion Program. Help us implement CAP action item neighbor to neighbor. That's number 1. And then number 2 is to organize trash collection. Single bid, lower dollars or lower costs, safer for children, less pollution and emissions. Sorry if it looks like your comment maybe got shortened. I don't think I can click on it. Financial incentive for energy efficiency projects by residents. Help to compensate for federal funding ending. Yep. So those are all really great comments. So thanks for sharing those. I'm going to press enter. And you can start voting. We'll try this. We'll see if it works. So again, not formal voting. It's just for discussion purposes. You'll only select the actions that you would like to see added in the work plan. You can vote for the items you would like to see added. The system will let you only vote for up to 5 if you want. That's just purely a limitation of the system, unfortunately. So if you wanted to vote for more, you can raise your hand and let us know. But
Wait, if we hit submit, can we then submit more after we hit submit?
hit submit. No, it only lets you submit for 5.
Total, okay.
Yeah. So choose 5, and then if you wanted to submit more, maybe raise your hand. Sorry about that, my mic wasn't on. Oh, 3 people, 4 people. Can select up to 5 if you want. Don't have to. Okay, 5. Oh, I think we need 1 more. Is one person still waiting? Did somebody not submit? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I haven't shared them yet. Well, did anyone not vote? Okay, well, that's fine. We'll just... That's fine. I don't know why. Okay. So, did anyone want to vote for more than 5? Or, okay. You were good with how many votes you were given? It looks like, so these ones were most popular. Hosting 2 reuse swaps, that's fun. So, sounds like collectively we would like to have 2. That sound good? Perhaps we could create a chart. Yes, I love that. I'm all about lists and progress reports. So I think we could certainly come up with something like that. Yes, stay tuned on what we can come up with. Neighborhood Sustainability Champion Program. Organized trash collection. So that's twofold. So that's a little tricky.
Can I ask whose that was?
If you want to share. It doesn't have to be.
Was it you, Diane?
Pardon?
Was that yours?
Yes.
I knew it, Diane. I felt it in my spirit. Diane is my sustainability sister, everyone. We're soul sisters. This is Diane. I knew it was you. Diane, my sustainability soul sister. Please tell me something. You know, because we love waste reduction. So I knew that I was like, organized trash
Be on the
collection.
trash.
I knew that was Diane.
And I'm doing the Hennepin County Recycling
Uh-huh.
Ambassador class right now.
I love
so-
it. Oh, are you?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk later. I love it. But people in the city. So is this are you saying have one hauler
Yes,
per neighborhood?
That's what organized collection
that would be
means.
one hauler.
Well,
for the
that's.
city.
I was just making sure the people understood what you were asking, because that is a great mountain to climb, is my understanding, because the people are dedicated to their haulers in these neighborhoods.
Well, I'm not sure.
You
if
think so?
Presented with a potential
Sustainability?
financial benefit and improved safety to have 1/4 the number of trash haulers come through the neighborhood, especially during walking to school. And then people are concerned about greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution with our poor air quality.
No, I'm on board for this 1,000%.
So I think people would
You think we can
weigh
sway
risks
them?
and benefits.
Uh-huh.
And
Should we be pitching it
I
harder?
think it would be interesting to poll residents.
Because
to see.
Mr. Ingvelson was always like, they're real. This was a hard one to. He thought they were. I think because it seems like such a little change that we can ask of people.
It's,
We did have some success with Republic in negotiating a lower price
Okay.
per month for organic recycling.
I agree with everything that's been said. I have been a supporter of organized collection since 1981 when I worked for the city of St. Paul. I just want to point out that it's easier said than done. People have an emotional attachment to their garbage hauler. That may not be logical, but that is what I have observed over decades. I'm very supportive of organized collection, but I don't think it will be as easy to implement as some people would think. That's my experience. People do not want to change, and they get very possessive of their garbage haulers. Not that it can't be done, and I'm not saying we shouldn't try, but I have been involved with that in the past in different counties in Minnesota. It hasn't worked.
And
People push back, and they don't want to do that.
No, so I was curious, and perhaps we can put it as an agenda item for a future meeting, because I know we can go on and on about it. But I love this topic, obviously, as you know, I love waste reduction. If we could get perhaps some data from the city surrounding where we're currently at with neighborhoods that have the same hauler, and perhaps even just increasing the percentage of our neighborhoods that have the same hauler, and perhaps that could be the goal. Is we're not going to get all of Minnetonka, but even just increasing the neighborhoods. If we're at 50%, I don't know if that's overly optimistic, and increasing that to 75% in the next 3 years. This is me throwing out random numbers. So perhaps that would be. I would love to get behind that goal of saying that's maybe an item that we could get behind. Just thinking if we could jot down those notes, that'd be great. I love that item. I just wanted to say though.
I agree with trying to reach like a certain threshold. I think when I'm setting goals, I think about it's okay if I can't change 100%, but if I can change 10%, that's still really good.
Can I make a suggestion on logistics management? In lean processes, companies do spaghetti diagrams of where people walk and how many times they do it, like, and nurses go over the same space about 50, 80 times a day, and they try to design things where they only have to go once or 3 times. I have a feeling that if we could put a tracker on each garbage truck and each recycler and watch how each color of each of the 4 vendors drive on the same piece of pavement, how many times a day, and then figure out how many miles that is divided by how many miles per gallon do you get to come up with actual numbers of what the pollution is and what the gas consumption is, and then you come up with actual metrics of what you can save in terms of time and effort and movement and wasted transportation time back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over the same pavement. And you probably did that, I imagine, and and maybe it isn't successful, but that was one way to prove how to change a design and how many vendors and how many people are involved in a project. For example, when you show them, hey, we've got 15 people walking over the same thing every 5 minutes.
I agree with everything everyone has said. But having people switch, it's difficult to do. We have tried, and I see myself on my street. You know, there are multiple haulers that are going down the street. St. Paul Public Works tried to do this in '81, and it was met with fierce resistance by the public, and it was tabled. Now, the city of Minneapolis does have a portion of the city that's organized collection. Maybe we need to visit with the staff there to learn about what they did to convince some of the residents that this does make sense. I don't think people disagree with any of the reasons for it. They just don't want to switch. It's irrational, but it is a fact. But we should try. It does make environmental sense. It makes a lot of sense, but people usually push back.
I do think more data will be helpful. Historically, if Minnetonka has tried or has brought it up, I would appreciate hearing that history. In addition, going forward, if we could do some surveys, simply if there was a cost reduction, would you be willing to switch to a different trash hauler? And I do agree, more data, but our role is to promote sustainability, and this would be one simple step. Well, maybe not simple. And change is always difficult. But I think there are pros and cons that residents may be willing to modify.
And also to overlap, that kind of adds into our, I know we have waste emissions reductions, which that kind of adds into it under our sustainability ambassadors to the public. So I know we're going to host our tables, even that's a question, like we could ask a quick question of like, hey, this is something we're considering. Just a quick question for you, like when we're polling residents to get feedback that way as well. I know sometimes we have, just to collect data. So when we have that larger or like greater conversation, that might be something we could consider when we're tabling and asking a quick question to residents. But yes, thank you.
Great comments. Thank you. As a new employee here, that would be a new topic for me as of within this community. So certainly would have to reach out to our existing, recycling coordinator within our Public Works division to see what sort of history and research has been done on the topic. It'd be great to have him come and present again. That's Darren Ellingson, who has presented to you in the past. So it's very likely that he's done research. As you know, we do have organized recycling and organized organics already. So I can almost assure you that he's done research on this topic. But I agree that it can be a very difficult topic, but I also do know that we are sustainability commissioners, right? Or you all are, and that is your job to talk about these things that maybe are a bit more challenging or not the norm or the standard way of doing business. So I appreciate you raising that. I think we just start with me bringing the conversation back to staff and seeing what I hear. And maybe it's as simple as like we just continue as a commission, you all continue to just research it more or poll residents on interests. Like we can do it in baby steps if that's the direction that we're hearing from other departments after I bring it back. I did want to, on that same comment that you made, Commissioner Meyer, about the Neighborhood Sustainability Champions programs, could you just briefly describe what you mean by that?
Yes. I have looked at other communities, Colorado in particular, and some communities here. Edina has neighborhood associations with different goals. Plymouth has a resident academy with education core materials looking at waste and land use and water and air. And with that training program, then they become neighborhood champions and are able one-on-one with neighbors, trusted neighbors, able to share the things that we want to implement through our climate action adaptation plan. So to try to get more buy-in with organic recycling, to make people aware of resilient Minnetonka. A lot of my neighbors don't even know that they can get some native plants, and there's the tree sale every year, as well as to get some feedback from neighbors. And there's only less than a dozen of us involved, and I think if we to reach more people one-on-one, which is more effective than just a webinar or just a Minnetonka memo, I think would take more people involved. And we have a large group of volunteers in Minnetonka, so I do think there'd be interest.
Sorry, just a moment. Can I also speak to, I think it was not this past cycle, but the previous cycle of sustainability award winners, where there was one gentleman who it was in his, I believe it was, they have condos where he said that they hosted, he had his own, basically it was similar to that within his facility. Do you know,
Yes,
do you
he was
remember?
yes.
Yes, and it was like he had started his own kind of sustainability or commission, and which had encouraged, where he had encouraged lots of residents to, I think it was start composting, or I can't remember what it was exactly, but
He
it
was passing on
yes,
his
yes.
project.
So I just
which is
wanted to make,
perfect.
yes, I just wanted to make sure I highlighted that because it is really powerful when you have like these captains in the community, because in different neighborhoods that can be kind of the ambassadors within their own community. So I just wanted to highlight that because we appreciate the work that our neighbors and residents are doing as well.
Yeah. In fact, our sustainability award winners would be the first people I would tap to see if they would be willing to be a volunteer champion.
Great. Thank you for describing that. Yeah, I think that really goes hand in hand with that trusted messenger concept, where it's like maybe you're not as motivated if the city is suggesting you do it, but if your neighbor who you've been, good friends with or living next to for 20 years is doing it, well, maybe you want to do it now. So, yeah, great point. Thank you for clarifying. Financial incentives for energy efficiency projects from residents. So I believe that would be kind of like a green kosher program, which is very popular in other cities. That was popular here. And then the remaining ones got a few less votes, but looks like everything got at least one or two. Yeah, I'll consider all of these, I think, probably for the next round. It looks like some of these are pretty similar, but okay, we will go to the next one. Oh, sorry. All right, slide 5. This was a question about the subcommittees. I'm just curious, do you like the idea? You have 3 multiple choice answers. One is yes, and you would like to join one. Yes, but you don't have time, because this would be an obligation outside of commission meetings, and it's understandable if you don't have the time. And then lastly is if you just aren't interested in that idea or just don't want to participate, to let me know. I'm just curious.
I'm
how the
wondering if these
commission
would be
feels.
on Tuesdays or would they be on a different day of the week?
Any day of the week. It likely would be requesting who's interested in joining. We could not have more than the majority of the commission because then it violates open meeting laws. So we'd have to be cognizant of that. But then that group would create a schedule that works for you and myself. So sometime Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Oh, and by subcommittee, do you mean like for scheduling things like the Everything Electric event?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be like a planning committee.
Okay.
Right now, I've only included them for the reuse swap and the Everything Electric event. I think event planning makes sense, and it's maybe a good place for us to start within 2026, and then can see how it goes.
Ally,
Yes.
my screen is frozen on question number
Can you
4.
refresh it?
I did that. It didn't do anything. There,
Riley's gonna. Oh,
there
okay.
it goes. I guess so.
Does it let you vote still?
Yeah, it just did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all 6 are in support and would like to join. That's great. Awesome. Okay, thanks. I wasn't sure how the commission would feel. Ideas for new forms of engagement with residents. So we've talked a lot about this. Let's say if you have a new idea that hasn't been raised, why don't you share it now? You're not obligated to share something. It's more of just, I'd like to hear if you have any other ideas that we haven't talked about as a group. I'm going to ask this question for residents. This one's for residents. The next 2 are, one is for businesses, and then the third is for community-based organizations like nonprofits. So. Is anyone still typing? Brian? Okay, we have 2 comments. One is the Electrify Everything Minnesota website. It's a collaboration of various cities. They have great educational, virtual, or in-person sessions on electric heat pumps, water heaters, induction stoves, plus additional resources. Yeah, that's a great website. I will say it does cost money to be a part of that initiative, so that would be something that if we wanted to be a part of that, we would need to factor that into a budget request from the city council in terms of like climate action and adaptation planning. Maybe that would be a conversation that we could include in number 2 of the plan, where we kind of formulate, review, research, and evaluate, develop, and advise climate action and adaptation related plans, policies, and programs. So that would be probably for the next budget cycle in the year 2026 for calendar year 2027. Get our elementary school-aged children involved with sustainable projects to stimulate their interest. That's great. Podcasts including award winners as well as other experts and ambassadors. Fun parties and picnics around sustainability themes, maybe just as an added commission contribution in existing event. Awesome. Thanks. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to brainstorm. Oh, another one came in. Start promoting other sustainability technologies in addition to, I do not know what that is. Oh,
That's right, Dave.
I was like, you stumped me. For example, geothermal. Okay. Love it. No, it's all good.
Hey, Allie,
Yes.
I was thinking, the when it says get our elementary school age children involved, looking at the next comment, fun parties and picnics around sustainability themes, that kind of meshes together.
Yeah.
You know, projects, you could substitute fun parties and picnics. So they both would accomplish the same goal, I think.
Yeah. So
Community involvement.
maybe not attempting to host really large events, but I'm picturing maybe just like smaller neighborhood activities or something.
Could be.
Yeah, at like local parks. I don't know, like maybe more of like the pocket parks they call them. I think.
Yeah, I mean, how many parks are there in Minnetonka? 60 some?
I believe so.
So we could use them potentially as a staging area.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to buy a van and stock that
Yeah,
party, sustainability party van.
or picnics.
Well, those are great ideas. I just wanted to get us kind of thinking. Okay, we don't need to start voting, I don't think. So let's just go on to the next one. 7, same question, but for businesses. Ideas for new forms of engagement with businesses. Just throwing out some thoughts that, and this would be maybe something we haven't talked about, something that's not explicitly in the plan. So if you wanted business blitz, a business blitz in the plan, write that down here, I think. Or any ideas you have.
I think a particular operator somehow went ahead without typing in something. Now it says submit, but I get some sort of code on the right side. So I did something I shouldn't have.
Why don't you refresh? Does it work to refresh the page?
Okay, Ashley. I don't know what that gibberish is.
This, let's just exit out of that.
Yeah, but I want to go back.
Wow, you can submit multiple responses, I think. Oh,
Yeah, see,
can you go back?
I don't know.
Oh, we're all the way back
Yeah,
now.
we're back underscore
Riley's coming.
901.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Guys are too quick. I think most of the answers have come in. Business Blitz has worked well. Same as the next point, that the one-stop efficiency shop, Business Blitz, with engineers from CEE to meet with over 100 business owners per day. So poll award winners and commissioners to see what their business connections and or jobs are so we can learn how to support and reward them again if they can help us connect. Don't know if I fully understand that one. Does the person that submitted that want to elaborate at all? I don't know. Yeah. Could you, I'm not fully understanding your point. Could you describe?
Find out who we work for and who our award winners worked for. That's a connection to business. And then how can we support them and ourselves to reach out to our current businesses and our current jobs and theirs. And then
I see.
And if they can do it, we reward them again.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Great points. Next is additional recognition page with Minnetonka Sustainability website for all businesses who have received awards. Yes, I love that. I would like to get to that point. And then partnering with an organization such as Minnetonka Business Council. Okay. Yep. So that's what we're doing this next time around. Based on some feedback, I'm wondering how the commission feels if we update number 13 in the work plan to I guess, hosting a business blitz instead of keeping it vague. Are we on support with that?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, what is a business? So in the past when we did the business blitz, it was with One Energy?
The one-stop efficiency.
One-stop energy.
Yeah.
Is that who
Yeah.
we're doing the blitz with
That's,
again?
yes.
Love those guys. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We might be able to increase the target too, because it sounds like we went to at least, 30 or something?
Could I also make a comment? Whoever wrote the one about one-stop efficiency
Yeah.
shop, the CEE people that came to do my home energy audit
Oh, right.
were great. Great connections. How can we, is that what you're trying to say, is leverage the CEE group? Yeah.
Yes.
They're,
Yeah. So
they're
they
fantastic.
Yeah, they have a business unit, so and they're particular to business resources. And
They're very helpful.
so, okay, so I will update 13 to say business blitz, and then 14. I'm hearing that we really want to utilize the connections we've already made with the Sustainable Minnetonka Award winners. So I'm thinking instead of, again, keeping it less vague and say help interview award winners, like past award winners for 14. Does that sound?
Agreed. Also, can I add that I don't think we were meaning to be exclusionary when we were talking about that. I just think we were saying we have a very nice pool to start with.
I think it's a great point.
I
to start
think
with,
I think
yes.
like we might see businesses out in the community who are like, hey, this is also a good business to add to this
Yeah.
idea. And I know that sometimes when we're even talking about general business, we mentioned something that might come up, but I just think we were saying we have a really good pool to start with.
Yeah. I think it's a good goal for 2026, and then after that point we can continue to expand. Okay, yeah, I think those were the two. Recognition page.
I really like the idea of the additional recognition page. I think that's a great.
Yeah, and
do.
so we have the Sustainable Minnetonka Awards page. It needs to be updated though. So that's where you go to apply for it, but it certainly can be expanded to include these interviews. Like if it's a video interview, for example, we could house it on there. We also can have kind of maybe like a brief case study or what have you of what they've done on that page. So yes, definitely expand what we have. Okay, thank you for all your thoughts. I can ignore that. 8. Any additional forms of engagement with community-based organizations. This would be like a nonprofit group or a place of worship. I'm sure there's a lot, but it's getting later, so I can't think of any others at the moment. But if you have any thoughts there, food shelves maybe. Oh yeah, the Scouts. Yeah, that's a great example of a community-based organization that you don't necessarily think of right away. Yeah, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. Okay, great. Again, if you have any other ideas that pop up, feel free to always share. It's just kind of fun to think of different ideas we haven't thought of before. Outreach, that community-based organizations can still apply for 30% funding for solar panels into 2026. That is very true. Making partnerships to mutually benefit. We help their efforts and they help us with outreach to their audience. Yes. Helps us expand. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking with the free home energy squad visit campaign. Like sharing that with local resource, like food shelf assistance programs where they're really connected with people in our community that utilize those services. I think that would be a great partnership. So it'd be nice to just have a connection with those people so that when we do create a new program, we're ready to go. You know, we already can send it to them. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. One more. Start a list of targeted community-based organizations we are already members of to brainstorm the best low-hanging fruit we can approach as commissioners most efficiently. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I think just starting with a list and then identifying who is the contact there, you know. I think that would be great. Okay, great brainstorming. Thank you all. Okay, 2 more questions. Which proposed activities are you least interested in, if any? So, again, I understand the text on the screen is small, but on your device it should be a little bit larger. I will say there also is one option that if you do support everything that we've talked about, you can select that too. I just want to make sure we're not including something that the commission isn't in support of generally. One more answer? Anyone? Oh, okay. All right. Least interested in one person, outreach tables. Maybe that's just because of time constraints, possibly. Multi-unit properties. I could see that one being challenging and maybe a bit more staff-oriented. It is a bit challenging to, you know, if I'm picturing you as a commissioner to get in contact with a property owner, it's probably a little bit easier staff task. Learning webinars, maybe not of interest to that particular person, and most people supported everything. So,
Can I say something to speak to that just a little bit? Although I don't want to speak to the person who chose that because that's not what I chose. But to speak to what you were saying about some things being staff oriented, I will say I know that the staff puts in a lot of hard work, and I also want to speak to this really quickly. I was going to wait till the end, but I might as well say it now. That I appreciate the hard work that you put into drafting this, and you and whatever other staff may have supported you in this, because I know that you have to kind of comb through past data. You have to comb through past data, what the cap CAP is looking at, and then also see how things relate. So I do hope you know that we appreciate the work that you put into this. I always like to do a little applause if no one minds. Because without the work of the city, without the work of staff, we don't get to do a lot of the work that we enjoy, which I will just say the ambassador work is some of my favorite work that we do, but there's also a lot of the work in being thoughtful about how do we represent the residents, how do we represent the city, how do we make sure that we're staying on task with all of the things that are appointed to us as not only ambassadors, but as commissioners. With that being said, I am also really a big proponent of us making sure we use our time wisely. So sometimes I am a big proponent of making sure that when there's something that is more appropriate for staff, that staff kind of takes that on, and that any like background work, I never want us like cold calling businesses or cold calling residents in any type of way. I think like there was an initiative that we did prior that just did not go well because they had us cold calling businesses essentially. And that's why the Business Blitz, I think, was so successful, because we showed up, we had additional background or additional, I think, support with us to be able to do the work right there. So anytime we're like doing work that might be outreach to anyone in the community, I think it's always nice when there is like a soft interest. We know that there's soft interest on that other party's end, because then we're not going in just cold. We're also making sure that they, there's availability to be received. And when you know that that is there, it just sets us up for success. I just wanted to note that I think that there is value, of course, in all of these initiatives, with time being limited. And I asked about the 2050 as far as with emissions and whatnot, because I know that is our big goal. I know it sounds far away, but to me, it just, when we're talking about this big lofty goal that we have, it is creeping up on us. It is, it's just, it's to me, it's looming in the background. And we chose a relatively aggressive goal with getting emissions down this quickly, something that I think that the city can do. But with doing that, I think we have to be really, really intentional about the things that we are trying to do in the community. So I want to say, number one, I definitely appreciate the work that you all are doing on the backside or the back end to make sure that the things that we are able to do are worthwhile and are very intentional, and our time is being used as wisely as it possibly can. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Great, thanks. Yes, I appreciate that. Appreciate your thoughts. And I also want to acknowledge the reason for this question is that we really appreciate all of your time and all of your energy and effort into helping the city meet the city's goals. We couldn't do it without you as a group of volunteers. So we want to make sure that we're using your time wisely, that you want to continue the work, and that we're doing actions or proposing actions for you that you feel like you're effective in. So that's for the reason for this question. And of course, if there is an action that staff feels that we cannot do it alone, then we would say, nah, I know it's maybe challenging or not your favorite, but we do need help in order to get this moved forward. We would be honest about that. But again, this is just to make sure that we're, creating a work plan that the commission likes, because it is the commission's work plan, right? So appreciate the thoughts.
Allie, I'd like to get a point clarified from Ashley. The contacts that some of us made with the businesses for the business council presentation tomorrow, I would consider those to be cold calls. And I don't think, as far as I was concerned, I've got my ID and I've got plenty of gray hair. Or as my granddaughter would say, white hair now. I don't even have gray hair anymore. But people were very receptive to me. I only took a minute or two or three of their time. So I would tend to disagree a little bit. I didn't think it was a waste of time. I was making them aware of the luncheon. I don't think most would have been clueless. And so had someone been upset with me, I think they would have told me to my face, but no one was upset with me. And they basically, on the other hand, they said, thank you very much for letting us know. And one of the first things I said was, I'm not selling you anything. I represent the Sustainability Commission. It's outreach to the businesses, to the smaller businesses, to making you aware of something that might benefit you. The decision to participate or to go, if you have the time, is great. But I'll never know what your decision is. So I think it was beneficial.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think the intent with that, and to feel less of like a sales position, is that that one in particular was to go to a meeting, you know, it was like informing them of the
Right,
meeting.
right.
I think in the past it sounded like, and again, I wasn't here, but it sounded like there was maybe more of like going to a business or cold calling a business and telling them about a bunch of resources, and that can feel maybe a little bit more uncomfortable because you're sharing the resources directly and almost asking if they're interested in it. So I don't know if maybe that's why this one felt a little bit more comfortable, but that was the intent with that, is that the first ask is really just saying, hey, there's a meeting coming up. If you want to go, you're welcome to. And if you want to know about the resources we're covering, it's on the back, and just leaving it as that. But
Something I would like to add, Ellen and I went to give out like those flyers for the business thing. I don't think we looked very professional, but I still think we got like very good like responses out of it. I wouldn't really say there was anyone who was like against it, and I think a lot of that comes with the nature of like what you said, it was like a learning thing, and probably like the free lunch and the fact that it was free as well. So so I would agree that this, to me, didn't really feel as much as cold calling as some other things would be, but yeah, so generally I think we had pretty positive responses.
Yeah, and kind of going off what Michael just said, I think if it was more of a, here's a bunch of resources we can give you, I think for me, I would feel a lot more uncomfortable because I was younger than every single person that I talked to, and they obviously can see that. So I think for something like that, I would feel a lot less comfortable. But for something like this, it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I think it was overall fine.
okay, so I think we just know we need to be conscious of if we are doing that and how we're doing it, and we can continue to have those conversations going forward.
Can I
but
ask one more
appreciate it.
thing, which
Yeah.
I do appreciate Brian being mindful of saying how we look as we're going into the community, because I do think that we are all received in very different ways. I appreciate that the commission is very mindful of trying to make sure that they pull from individuals from all different facets of the Minnetonka community, as far as age-wise, as far as from different ethnic groups and culturally, but we are all perceived differently in Minnetonka. So when you go into a business and you say, hey, I'm representing the city, we are all received very differently. So I think it's important that the chair says, I show up like this, I can have my badge, but I show up differently. And I don't know, do y'all have badges? To our youth members, I didn't think y'all had badges yet. But like, and so I think you don't have a badge yet either. And so I think that it would be helpful that if you all are sending us into the community, I'm sure that there is more than our lanyards that we could potentially have, perhaps like a shirt that has the city logo on it, if you're gonna have us doing work in the city, just to make it look a little bit more official if we're gonna go into businesses and be asked to do work. Just because I think that, I know that would make me feel more comfortable to have to go into a business and say, I'm representing the city. Even with my badge, we're all received differently when we go into businesses here in Minnetonka. So I think that's something to be mindful of as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Typically, if as staff, what I would be wearing is my lanyard, and then I have a name tag. Can you raise your hand? Do you have name tags? Does anyone have a name tag? Just those. Okay, sounds good. So I'll make a note of that, and that's maybe something we can look into, is that we have name tags that says your position on it, so just feel a little bit more formal. So then you don't have to wear a t-shirt, you can kind of wear whatever you're wanting, you're wearing. But yeah, that too. Okay, great. Those are all great considerations. 9, okay. Anything that we want removed? Okay, I think we're seeing a lot of support. I'm just gonna move to the next. Last one. I apologize, I lied. There's one last one. What is your preferred way to learn more? Do you want to learn more at the meetings? Do you want me to share external opportunities that you can go to on your own time, like a meeting or a webinar that you want to listen in on? Do you like the tours, all of the above? Maybe just share some, just so I know that I'm meeting your needs and interests. Oh, I like the scheduling piece. That's a good idea. Okay. Seeing tours. External, which is good to know. Some in-person presentations, some webinars. Okay. If I see webinars, I think what I'll start doing is that on the Friday email updates, I will include those. If you want to attend one, up to you. If you do, let me know so then I can report on it. Let me know what the topic was, who the organization was, and if you attended, and then we can just kind of collectively keep a list. I think that would be awesome. Again, everything is optional. Depends on the topic, but in person are best, but simple instructions or direction emails are preferred. Okay. Great. And then for tours, I think that it's a good idea for us to just say at least 2. We can certainly attend more. Let's consider it an action item for a future agenda meeting. And I think that'll allow us to have much more discussion on that. And maybe our interest will even change come, about 6 months from now or however long that is. Okay. I appreciate you all sticking through that. I know we're getting a little later here. Do we like Mentimeter generally? Is that something that, yeah? Okay. Cool. We'll consider using that again. Otherwise, thank you for the conversations. I think we collected a good amount of feedback. I'll bring that item. I'll take all your opinions today. I'll collect them and then I'll draft some changes, and then November we can have some final discussion and then move to recommendation of approval. So thank you. Appreciate your time and effort with that.
One other suggestion for strategic planning, brainstorming. Last year we had one of our meetings as a work meeting with Julie, and it was basically to prepare the 2025 action plan for you. Right.
Oh.
So, and it was great to be able to sit around the table informally, talk about things, and brainstorm.
Okay.
And then I believe the following meeting, we finalized the suggested items.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I'll ask if that's an opportunity. All right. Chair, you want to move us to the next item?
Yes, I will. That completes item 5A. Since no city resident is registered to comment, I'm going to open and close the public input portion for this agenda topic. No vote was required. It was informational, and it's informational for staff. So we will move along to item 6A.
All right, this one's a real quick one. General staff updates, just a few updates. So we have our Minnetonka Business Council meeting tomorrow. That is a series that the City of Minnetonka is hosting jointly with the Wayzata West Metro Chamber. It started about a year ago, every couple of months, I believe quarterly or every other month. They're hosting this on a series of different topics. The coordinator asked if I wanted to host a sustainability related topic, so we'll be talking about how small to medium-sized businesses can receive assistance to reduce their energy bill. So we have 4 other talkers or speakers in addition to myself. It'll be CEE speaking for their one-stop efficiency shop program. We have Energy Smart, Xcel Energy, and Centerpoint Energy. They're all speaking. So I was going to ask for outreach feedback, but it sounded like we already kind of shared most of those thoughts, so I appreciate you sharing how that went. Let's see, November 18th is our next Sustainability Commission meeting, so you can note that on your schedules if you haven't already. Sustainability ambassador opportunities. I was going to ask about if we want to do a business splits this fall, but now I'm wondering if we want to maybe just wait until early 2026 and it'll give us a bit more planning. Does that? I can reach out. The other option is that I just reach out to One Stop and see what their availability is. It really is dependent on their staff time. And any thoughts?
I like the idea of having you reach out to them
Yeah.
to see if they're even available.
Right.
Because we really don't know if this fall is possible or not.
Yeah. And they would have a better sense of like what time of year is best for businesses too. Okay, well, I'll start the conversation with them and see where it goes. And then I did write fall activities. I was going to ask for ideas, and then I remembered that I will be looking for volunteers to help out at the open house, the city's open house. That's our second Everything Electric exhibit. We will, instead of featuring residential vehicles, this is more of an opportunity to showcase the EVs that we have within our city fleet, while also providing resources to purchase your own if you're interested. But what we're brainstorming is that the sustainability table will have what we're likely going to call a passport, where there's 4 different stamps that you can get. And you stop by our table and we say, go find the different areas. We might, I don't know, we'll tell people where they are, but we'll have big icons at the stations that you stop at to get a stamp. So it'll be like stopping at the police electric Blazer that they have, or the police e-bikes that they have. And then the other stop will likely be the electric vans that the city has. So you stop at each of those. It would be great to have a sustainability commissioner at each of those stations, I thought. Maybe asking like a quiz question or some sort of activity. This is what they do at the Eco Experience at the State Fair, if you've ever been in there.
Yes.
They do a stamp kind of bingo card, and in order to get the stamp, you actually have to like complete a little something. So you take a little nugget of information with you. So if you're interested, it'd be great to have maybe 3 commissioners volunteer to be there. We could certainly have more as well helping out. So
What's the date of that, Al?
great question. So let me just double check my
I
calendar.
just looked it up. It says October 7th.
Okay,
Does that sound right?
Yep, it's a Tuesday.
5 to 8.
Yep.
On a Tuesday.
Yep. 5 to 8. Yeah, I want to say maybe they. Yeah, I think this year it's 5 to 7:30. Okay, 5 to 7:30. I think it's a little earlier this year. Does anyone want to sign up right now? Otherwise, I'll send out a request by email.
I need to check, but I'm pretty sure I could do that.
Yep, that's fine. Should we wait on that?
Yeah, I have to check my schedule
That's
too.
fine. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so stay tuned. So what is it? It's Tuesday today. So this Friday, I'll send out the request. And if you want to sign up, you can respond.
Can you just sign me up, and then I'll let you know if I can't?
Sure.
Thank
Well, how tentative are you? Or when will you get back? Oh, okay. Yep, that's fine. Yep, that's totally fine. I'll put you as tentative, and then we can, I'll circle back with you. Thank you all. From what I hear, it's a very fun event, and there's lots of people that attend. So with that, that's all the updates I had. So Brian.
Okay, thank you. Since there are no further questions for Hallie, and since no one has registered to comment on item 6A, I'm going to open and close the public input portion for this agenda topic. That concludes 6A, since it was informational. No vote is necessary. So I'd like us to move on to item 7, which is a report from my fellow Sustainability Commission members. Does anyone have anything they'd like to report? I don't. Ashley?
This is not a report. Well, is it a report? Or
It's okay.
In general? Okay, we'll just say it's general.
Yep.
You guys, it's apple season, okay? And so we need to be eating the apples, the local apples. As you know, the Apple House is open right here in Chanhassen. Go to the Apple House. They are delicious. If you go on their website, there's a nice little list of it tells you when they are releasing each of the different varieties. You know, they do lots of crossbreeding and hybrids and whatnot. Fantastic. I love them. We are members of the Arboretum. We love the apples. They also have, some of the local food trucks that will come. I think the Apple one that comes and does those delicious mini donuts that are fantastic. They also have tons of just their, the Apple House has a ton of like local artisan goodies that are locally made. So I would say go check out the Apple House. It is fantastic.
Additionally, Apple news, I work at the Minnetonka Lake Winds over there. The First Kiss apples are excellent, and I would recommend. They're also locally sourced. So
Really? Thanks for bringing that up. September 27th is Apple Fest at the Arboretum. We'll be there with a group, and so that'll be fun. Thanks for bringing it up.
Does anyone else have anything to share?
I just,
Ally, Diane?
I mentioned before that I am participating in Hennepin County Recycling Ambassador Program, and it happens to be taught by my niece, so small world, someone who I aspire to be.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything they'd like to share?
One more general one. I'm
Okay.
a newbie, you know, I've only been on the commission for a little bit, but I've appreciated all of the opportunities to be at the ambassador and working with you all and learning how to do this, because I've not served on any public commissions before. This is my first time, so just wanted to thank you for your patience and helpful mentorship on being a commissioner.
You're welcome.
I was just going to comment with Commissioner Meyer saying, we love to hear about sustainability legacies. So look at you creating a legacy in your niece and her doing amazing work. So that sounds great.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Anyone else? If not, I have one comment I'd like to share with everyone. There was an article in the Star Tribune on the 14th of September. The headline says, "Green energy grows anyway." Not to sound political, but this is factual information that was in the Trib. And it says, in June, almost 1/4 of the United States power generation was green, up from 18% in the previous year. So our efforts, our collective efforts across the country are working, in contrary to what others state. I guess that's enough said. But it is good news to hear. So people are very receptive to green energy, even though others are not. And that's all I want to say on that topic. That concludes item 7 on tonight's agenda. Item 8 is other business. Does anyone else have any other business they'd like to bring up tonight? If not, I'm going to move on to item 9, which is adjournment, which is very important. I would like if someone would make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. Michael?
I motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Ellen, thank you. Ally, would you, well, I guess in this case, we can all say in favor of saying aye.
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 It's unanimous. We are adjourned.